Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the West Lindsey series. This is one of the 9 districts of Lincolnshire and one of the county's most rural. It has 128 civil parishes. Let's see which one this episode's all about. Welcome back to West Lindsey, everybody. We've got 6 left to go to, and this one is the last one in West Lindsey on the Lincolnshire Wolds. Sad times, sad times. But of course, the Lincolnshire Wolds extend a long way into East Lindsey, and that's what's coming after West. So we're not done with the Wolds after this one just yet. I think I've saved this one until last because I think it's probably the best one, quite frankly. This has got 2 churches. One of them is called the Ramblers Church. Let's go and find it. It's in the parish of Walesby. The West Lindsey series is sponsored by Gainsborough Cycles 01427 617 752. For all your cycling needs, this is your one-stop shop, located at 20 Ropery Road or online at gainsboroughcycles.com. There's a link in the description. Gainsborough Cycles, ask for Trevor Halstead. And this video is also sponsored by Jamie's Fitness Studio, based on Low Road, Greyingham, near Curtin in Lindsey. Jamie is one busy lady. Check her out by calling 07906 749 574 or emailing hello@jamies.co.uk. Online membership is available. There's a link to her Facebook page in the description. Jamie's Fitness Studio. Get fit, get happy, get healthy. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Rounding off the Lincolnshire Wolds in West Lindsey, we have Walesby, possibly the most well-known of the Wolds villages, thanks to one landmark in particular, the Ramblers Church. Walesby is also one of the biggest on the Lincolnshire Wolds in terms of the area it covers, as its boundaries extend to the hamlets of Risby and Otby. The main village is 3 miles northeast of Market Rasen and 7 miles south of Caistor. The name Walesby is thought to mean farm or settlement of Valr, or another suggestion is farm or settlement of the Britons. Walesby is one of the most popular places for walkers on the Wolds, and so it should be when you consider the footpaths that run through it. First of all, there's the Viking Way, which the Ramblers Church sits right next to. Also passing through Walesby is the 69-mile-long Lindsey Trail, which can accommodate walkers, cyclists, horses and carriages. And on top of that, there's also the 206-mile-long Fakenham to Hull section of National Cycle Route 1. It's fair to say Walesby gets plenty of visitors. It is somewhat surprising then that the village doesn't have a lot of amenities. There's no shop, nor is there a pub, but there is a village hall, if nothing else. Walesby otherwise is residential, and how lucky must people feel to live here? I reckon this is the best village on the West Lindsey part of the Lincolnshire Wolds. Let's see if you agree. Time to ramble our way to the Ramblers Church. We begin at the village hall. This was built in 1988 and is described on the parish council's website as Walesby's focal point. It replaced a wooden hut once used by the army. Many activities take place here, and its car park is a well-known meeting point. Outside is the last of the gravity-fed natural springs that were located all around the village. This one was originally outside the blacksmith's shop. These signs should be familiar to us all by now. Walesby sits on the Viking Way, and shortly we'll be using part of it. Walesby's boundaries extend to two hamlets. One of them is Otby, and this is Otby Lane, where there's a trout fishery. Walesby is otherwise surrounded by arable farmland. There are some livestock farms here too, including a commercial herd of red deer. Many people who live here are commuters. Walesby is ideally placed for people to get to Lincoln, Grimsby or Louth easily. There's a significant number of retirees here too, and some who work from home. It all means Walesby is a pretty peaceful place. Housing varies greatly. It has ancient cottages, modern detached bungalows, luxurious family homes, and a few council houses too. There's no shop, nor is there a pub. There used to be a post office though, and that's this building on your screens right now. There used to be a tea rooms in Walesby too, but they closed in 2014. The nearest is now at the Walesby Woodlands Caravan Park. So the two roads that run out of Walesby to the west are connected together by this footpath which I'm currently on. I'm nearly at the end of it actually. When I reach the end, I'll take a left turn and this will take us towards the first of Walesby's two churches. Here we go, left turn here. Church will appear. Oh, there's two lefts actually. First left there and then left again just down here. It'll take us to the first of the two churches. Walesby has two churches and the reason why will soon become apparent. This is the more modern of the two, St Mary's Church. Built in the arts and crafts style, this was erected in 1913 to designs by the acclaimed architect Temple Moore. For some 30 years previous, locals worshipped in a temporary iron building until sufficient funds were raised to build this. We've actually already seen that iron building. It was sold and moved to Linwood and became the Little Pink Church. St Mary's was damaged in the 1930s when a hurricane dislodged its original candle snuffer spire, resulting in its eventual removal. St Mary's sits on Rasen Road, the road that leads west to Market Rasen. This is looking east though, towards the village centre. Opposite the church is this house. It looked pretty historic, but it's not listed and I could find nothing more about it. We move on to the parish notice board and that's Walesby visited. West Lindsey has just 5 left to go to now. That's crazy. The phone box next to it is now Walesby's book exchange. Sorry telephone fans, no working phone in here. So as well as having 2 churches, Walesby also has 2 old post offices. We've already seen one already. The second one is behind me right here. So this has moved around a few times, hasn't it? That one there, this house on the left hand side, is the other old post office. Now let's continue walking through the village. We're now going to head towards the other church, which is called the Ramblers Church, and this has got a very interesting history. We'll see what it's all about when we get there. To get to the Ramblers Church, we have to follow part of a now familiar footpath, the Viking Way, which runs right past it. Make no mistake about it, folks, this is not an easy task. The church stands high on a hill, and boy, this is an uphill slog. According to the signs at the entrance to this, visitors to the Ramblers Church are invited to park in the Village Hall car park. Dedicated to All Saints, this was Walesby's original church, but it fell into disuse before it was renovated in the 1930s. The old church has become a place of pilgrimage and popular for ramblers, hence the adopted name of the Ramblers Church. Now it has a stained glass window depicting walkers and cyclists, which was donated by local ramblers in 1951. It stands on ancient foundations and the clock on its tower was given to mark the Silver Jubilee of King George V. It has 8 bells, 2 of which are medieval. Its Guildford chimes strike on all 8 as opposed to the usual 5 in other churches. The Ramblers Church is always open. Walkers are welcome to sit inside and rest a while, and let's be fair, you may need to after that hill. All Saints is still used and cared for by Walesby Parish Council and the Friends of the Old Church, which was formed in 1980. Services are still held here. These include an annual candlelight carol service, which is held on the second Saturday in December. On Easter Sunday, a traditional First Fire Dawn service is held too, and Ramblers also have a special service on Trinity Sunday. The east window of its Lady Chapel was given by the Grimsby wayfarers, who began annual pilgrimages to this church in 1932. So there were some other people in there who were looking at the church in a bit more depth than I do. Mine's always just a fleeting visit, isn't it? If they want to look a bit more closely, that's up to them. Now in there was a document on one of the tables that said there were some medieval earthworks close to this church. And here on this board outside the church you can see where they are. So here's the church and we are standing right next to it just there. And you can see a patch of earthworks just there, but also a bigger patch just here. So that is the remains of the medieval village of Walesby, the shrunken village if you like. It tells you all about it here on this board. If you want to pause the video, feel free and have a read of that. There's also another patch of earthworks which is further away. It's down here somewhere. But this is West Lindsey. There are earthworks all over this part of the country, let's be honest. Let's head out of the churchyard now. We're going to go back down the Viking Way and complete this walk around Walesby with a sort of northeastern corner of the village and see what else is left. Little pro walking tip for you. If you're going down a hill, take it steady. This hill, as I said earlier, is quite steep, and so going down it is probably just as bad, if not worse, than going up it. So just be careful if you do come and visit the Ramblers Church, because you will need to be prepared for the slope that it stands on. Our last section takes us up and down this road, Walesby Hill, which isn't as steep as the track to the Ramblers Church, thankfully. This is the area which contains Walesby's biggest and most impressive and luxurious houses and farmhouses. Some of these must fetch telephone numbers in terms of value. Halfway up the hill is another big building, Walesby's Old School. This opened as a national school in 1854. It closed in 1965 and its pupils were then transferred to the school in Tealby. The house opposite, Lake View, is the base of a local forklift truck dealer, J.J. Clark & Sons. Their website is linked below. There isn't much more I can say about Walesby at this point, but I did at least find one more thing that you might find interesting. In 1608, a charge of witchcraft was brought against a local woman, but there was never any record of any punishment. How's that for a fun fact? Anyway, a few more paces brings us back to where we began, outside the village hall. What a fascinating walk that one was. And we're back to the village hall, which completes not only the walk around Walesby, but all the parishes in West Lindsey on the Lincolnshire Wolds. Next time we'll see these beautiful hills will be within East Lindsey. To finish with, we're heading over a railway line, the same one we met in Halton-le Moor. This is known as Walesby Gatehouse Level Crossing, and this road runs west to Walesby Moor, emerging on the A46 near Usselby. That's it for the Wolds in West Lindsey, but there's still more Wolds villages to come. I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.